That's right. We will never give up. We will never surrender. Regardless of the situation, we will carry on. Regardless of the errors we make, we will carry on. Because hope springs eternal. That's... How you doing this morning? How you doing this morning? You know, every time I hear that, I think of Jeff, because that was our mantra. Never give up, never surrender. This is what we do. And you know, we all have this inside of us to never give up and never surrender. I think one of the bad things that's happened in our society is that we don't actually allow our children to never give up, never surrender. We make it so that they are protected at all times. And, you know, some of the biggest names in child psychology and everything say children do need to learn how to fail at an early age when it won't affect them for the rest of their life. So I look at that. My parents definitely believed in it. Oh, so you didn't do good today. Too bad. We cry for you. Get up and do it again tomorrow. Yeah, that's how I was raised. It was a different world. It was a different world. And sometimes I think about how hard it is to adjust as an older person to today's world. And in raising this puppy called Princess Penny, it is a constant battle for me. As she is, you can see that she is now in her teenage years, and she's using a little bit of rebellion. Every day, you know, I get her up to go outside. She meanders out there, and I'm saying, okay, gotta go. And she'll just lay down in the grass and go, no, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to lay here for a while. I'm just like, come on, Benny. And then when you're so careful to keep other things out of her mouth that she doesn't eat, and you've got a good situation with what's coming out on the other end, and then you're dealing with this, trying to keep her mouth with things not getting in it. So we'd had a little issue of kind of loose, and now then I got her all fixed up and she's good. Yesterday morning we go out. I'm thinking everything should be good. Problem again. All right, so now we're out there today. I'm starting off with a happy story. Well, not really, because we're talking about, you know, crap. But anyway, so we're out there today, and I'm saying to myself now, I was real careful on what I fed her yesterday. Let's see how things are today. Did she have to go? Nope. She just walked around, said, I don't think I feel like it yet. I'm going to just keep it all to myself. I'm like, come on, Penny, hurry up. So anyways, she picks out something out there in the field, and she's very adroit at twisting her head so I can't see what she's got. Well, she comes back in here, and I'm trying to get over here, and I need to get her hooked up so she can't escape, so she's right where I know where she's at here. And so she's got this thing in her mouth, and she had dropped it down, I guess, because she was saying, see what I got? It's some type of little crab apple or something. So here I am, so careful with what I'm feeding her, and then she gets into that. So now I think I know what caused the problem from yesterday. We'll see if I've saved her from today. All right, when we get finished with the show, at the very end of the show, I'm going to share the story, another story. Now, this isn't the same story. This is another story of Penny, Ann, and the armadillo. The story, the saga continues. I want to share that with you. But let's get started and talk about some of the other things that are out there, So one of the things, of course, is that they are not going to vote in Congress about whether to release the Epstein's files in Congress. House Speaker Mike Johnson is beginning the August recess a day early, with the last votes wrapping up today. The decision prevents a vote forcing the Justice Department to release files on late sex offender and financier Jeffrey Epstein. So this is what is happening. The decision comes after a bipartisan effort sought to call a vote on the issue through the House Rules Committee. At least 10 Republicans supported the measure. By recessing the committee, no votes requiring a simple majority could be added to the docket. Lawmakers pursuing more information on Epstein and his underage sex trafficking ring plan to resume the effort in September. Oh, yeah. We got to keep this thing rolling. The DOJ has this month said it would not release most evidence on the case, a decision President Trump has backed. So what is going on? Why does it take so much? The files were on the desk. There's nothing there. Why can't we release it? Okay. Separately, the House Oversight and Government Reform Subcommittee voted yesterday to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell, an Epstein associate. What are you talking about as an associate? It was his girlfriend, and she was involved in procurement. So she's serving a 20-year sentence in Florida for her role in the trafficking. The Justice Department said it will meet with Maxwell in the coming days. And Ghislaine has had all kinds of appeals. In fact, I think it was almost to the Supreme Court. People say that she may have been holding out for her to make a deal, and this is going to be her best opportunity to make this deal. So that's where this is headed. She has said very little, put very little out there, but this may be her opportunity if her attorneys can spring her from a low, not a high, a low prison that has low security for people that they don't think are very big risks. So she is in Tallahassee, Florida. So anyways, that's what they are saying, that it could be where she is going to make this deal and get herself out of prison. Does she have the little black book? Does she know more information? Of course she knows more information. It's just a question. If what information she has will be enough to be able to reduce her sentence. So the story for Epstein from that aspect, I think, is very interesting. The story about this constant drumbeat all the time about releasing the files is another thing. And of course, they have gone to the courts and asked the grand jury to release the files. So far, I don't think there's been any action on that. And the question is, how much is victim files, meaning young girls whose names were in there, how much would have to be redacted for it to be released. So I don't really know where they are going to, I don't know where it's going to actually end. And why are they not just doing it? Like my Supremo texter said, they released the files for the Washington madam with her little black book, and a lot of people were embarrassed. I don't know whether, it must be because this is pedophiles and all this kind of stuff, what would happen if this information, but I find it hard to believe it's a nothing burger, because if it was a nothing burger, guess what? They would release the files. All right, so that's enough on Epstein here for today. What other things are there to talk about today? Well, let's see. Where are we going here? I had some other things I wanted to talk about. So let's go back here. All right. So that's that. They're going into an August recess a day early. That means they will be in the district. They should be available to talk to. It shouldn't be just a vacation. I know there are some events and whatnot planned, so we'll have to see what they actually come up with. One of the things that that is being talked about is Sherry Biggs got her first bill has made it out of committee and is headed to the House floor, although I guess it won't be before they come back from her August recess. But Congressman Sherry Biggs' first bill clears the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Made in America Defense Act advances. In a milestone for her first term in Congress, Congressman Sherry Biggs announced today that her bill, Made in America Defense Act, has officially passed markup in the House Foreign Affairs Committee. This makes the first bill authored by Congressman Biggs to advance through committee. You know, there's a lot of people, I got to say this, a lot of people in Congress who sign on to bills, but they don't actually do a bill. And so this is huge, I think, for Sherry Biggs, our representative for District 3, who is in the House of Representatives. Washington bureaucracy should never stand in the way of getting vital defense equipment to our allies or boosting American industry, said Congressman Biggs. This bill cuts red tape, improves transparency, and makes our South Carolina manufacturers have a fair shot at contributing to national security. The Made in America Defense Act strengthens U.S. defense exports by encouraging greater participation by qualified American manufacturers in supplying allied nations, making the list of restricted defense items public so everyone can see which products are limited to government-only sales, and 3, requiring the government to review that list every year to see if any restrictions can be removed. So this is quite an accomplishment for Sherry Biggs, and I think we should congratulate her for ferreting that through the process. It's not even easy to get a bill to the floor where votes can be taken. So that's why this is really so exciting. It says it's now time. The bill now moves to the House for further consideration. It says the bill has also received strong endorsements from national industry leaders, the Aerospace Industries Association, and the National Defense Industrial Association submitted letters supporting the legislation, praising its potential to enhance U.S. competitiveness, speed up critical defense sales, and create opportunities for trusted manufacturers at home. So this is a huge. So it also has the support of 5 co-sponsors. This is what I'm talking about. Most people sign on as co-sponsors, particularly in their first year. So for Sherry Biggs to go out there and have a bill that's made it all the way through the processing of approving that it be able to have a House vote is huge. But the bill has earned the support of 5 co-sponsors, including Representative Ryan Zink, Representative Mike Lauder, Representative Michael Baumgardner, Representative Rich McCormick, and Delaware, and James Moyen from Guam. He's a representative. So anyways, that's pretty huge, folks, and I think you ought to congratulate Sherry on this accomplishment. You know she is a colonel, unless she's gotten her final designation going through War College and all the things that she's done. But she is really making a difference and should be applauded for what she has done so far. And this is in her first 6 months. So congratulations, Sherry Biggs. Good job. All right. So I wanted to mention that this morning because I think that is actually a huge story. I had this trade deals with Japan and with the Philippines. It's reached agreements with Why do people call me when I'm on the air? I'm on the air. The United States has reached trade agreements with Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines. So that's pretty huge. Let's check out what exactly happened there. This deal with Japan is a biggie. So Japan, with the August 1st deadline approaching, that'll be next Friday, the United States has reached trade agreement, with Japan. He said, I just signed maybe the largest deal in history. Would we expect anything less, Donald? Just once, would you like him to come out and say, I just did a really little deal? That would be just so, I think, so hilarious if Donald Trump ever came out and said, I just did a really, really little deal. Let's see, it says we worked long and hard. It's a great deal for everybody. A lot different from the deals in the past, I can tell you that, Trump said. Across his political career, Trump has often criticized the trade arrangements between the United States and its allies, among them Japan. As part of the deal, Japan will open up U.S. trade on items like cars and trucks, rice, and other agricultural products and other things. The East Asian nation will also pay reciprocal tariffs to the United States at a rate of 15%. Trump had threatened to increase to 25% if Japan didn't come to an agreement before the August 1st deadline. Industry and government officials with knowledge of the agreement said the deal gives Japan one major win, lowering the tariff on Japanese automobiles by 10%, cutting the rate from 25 to 15%. Japanese cars, of course, include some of the most popular manufacturers in the United States, including Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. Japan will also invest $550 billion in the United States, which will receive 90% of the profits from the investments. I think it's the United States will receive the profit. This deal, he says, will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. There has never been anything like it. Of course. Wouldn't you just like him to say one time, I did this deal. It's not a big deal. I don't know. In my first term, I told you you'd get tired of winning. Are you tired yet? Because I'm tired of making these deals. No, we're never going to hear that, folks. Never, ever, ever. But it might be refreshing. I just did a really, really little deal. Anyways, that's just a thought that popped into my brain. So this is very exciting for the United States of America, and especially for the fact we will continue to always have a great relationship with the country of Japan. The trade deal comes as Japan faces an uncertain political future. The Prime Minister's party lost control of the upper house of the Japanese government after losing control of the lower house in October. So voters were driven in part by fears about the impending trade decline and deadline. So on Wednesday, the Prime Minister there acknowledged the trade deal, saying it would benefit both nations. So that's one of the things. At a Tuesday dinner, Trump said negotiations with the European Union will be held in Washington on Wednesday. We have Europe coming in tomorrow and the next day. And so this is something, will there be an agreement comes together there. The Indonesian trade agreement is done, and I think that's at 19%. So that's, I'm not going to go through all of it. Same thing with the Philippines. They have confirmed is done. So as he said would happen, as the deadline got closer, people would start making sure that they made these deals. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stated on Tuesday that the August trade August 12th trade deadline with China is likely to be extended. Okay. So they weren't able to make a really big deal. That was only going to be a little deal. So they decided to extend it. So he says, Bessent said, I think we've actually moved to a new level with China where it's very constructive. We're going to be able to get a lot of things done now that the trade has kind of settled in at a good level. So Bessent also noted the administration wants to discuss sanction Iranian and Russian crude oil and slow the glut of manufacturing that they're doing and concentrate on building a consumer economy. So that is where that is at. So as they move this through, you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit, whether you like him, love him, don't like him, don't care for him at all. He is making these trade deals, and he is winning on the plus side. I mean, just look at the Japanese tariff business that has happened with this money being invested, manufacturing being here, getting more jobs for Americans. So congratulations to President Trump. And no, this wasn't just a little deal. It was a really big deal. And that's why I think he is excited about it. One thing you can say is that President Trump does nothing small. But I think it might be kind of fun if just one day he came out and said, well, folks, I just did a really little deal. Wouldn't that be kind of funny? I think that would be kind of funny. Hey, I'm Ann Eller right here with you this morning. What else do we have? Yes, we are live on Facebook. If you'd like to join me and tell me what you're thinking about what we're doing here this morning, I would absolutely love it. You know, it helps with my numbers and everything, and it really helps with my numbers if you would follow me, if you're a Facebooker, if you would follow me on Facebook, because I think who is going to be the person that pulls me over, what are we at, 899 followers, I think is where we're at. Who is going to put me at 900? Who is going to do this? Would you like to be the person that followed me for the 900th time? I think that would be pretty terrific. Let's see. Has anybody signed up this morning and is following? Nope, we've got over 1,000 followers. It's more than that. I mean, I don't remember what the number is right off the bat. Excuse me. Likes, if you would like my page. I have 899 likes. All I need is one more like on this page and I will be at 900. And then we'll work at 1,000. So if you'd like to be the one that helps pull that over the top, that would be amazing. So that's WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. We have had some tremendous interviews. I am taking, for the afternoon show, this week off and next week off, and then it's already lining up for August, and so you better get rested up and be ready to go. All right, so what else do we have going on? Oh, that's right. If you just are listening on the radio, you know that you're listening to WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. 1450 AM. So, what else did I wanted to say? What was it? Let me go back here. This is what I wanted to. Let me go back here 1 second. I was in a place and then I left our place, and so here we go. What are we talking about? I had a story. I mean, this is just an off the wall story, but you know, you gotta have something different to talk about every day. You know, this idea of the cane sugar being cane sugar in Coca-Cola. Here you go. I guess maybe we could call this a little win for Trump. Coca-Cola said it will launch a version of their flagship soda sweetened with cane sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup this fall, following public statements by President Donald Trump about the change. The company said the new edition, already sold in Mexico and parts of Europe, will not replace the existing version. It'll just be an alternative choice. The move follows a push from Trump and from Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to reduce artificial ingredients and dyes. Both sweeteners contain fructose and glucose, but the cane sugar one typically has slightly more fructose because fructose is metabolized in the liver. Some research suggests excessive intake may contribute to fat buildup and insulin resistance. So that is what we are drinking right now. Critics warn eliminating those HFCS could cost thousands of jobs and $5.1 billion in farm revenue. Coca-Cola originally switched from cane sugar to the high fructose, whatever it is, stuff in the early 1980s due to rising sugar prices. So by going to this, they will, I guess they're going to keep both. So you will have a choice, as you should. Do you want the cane sugar or do you want the other? It is interesting. You've got to admit, it is interesting what Robert Kennedy has done to the food additives and this type of thing. A lot of things are coming out of our foods that we have had and for years have not been in Europe, and yet we have let this continue. I think that there are a lot of little wins over there that really are going to make a difference in our health. And what was it I was listening this morning, I think on the radio, they were showing a picture on the beach just recently and how everybody on the beach was obese. And yet back in the 1970s when they had a picture of people on the beach, they were all slim. Now, we know that's a slight exaggeration. But the preponderance of people were slim versus in today's world, the preponderance of people are overweight. And so if we could make ourselves healthier by just doing things and having choices, we would certainly put our healthcare system in a better place long term. Now, is any of this thing going to be tomorrow? No, it will not be tomorrow, but it will be something that future generations can hopefully reap the benefits of. All right. Now, in other news, Ozzy Osbourne died yesterday. Of course, he was the Black Sabbath frontman. He died at age 76, just over 2 weeks after performing his final concert, which raised $190 million for charity. So that was huge. That was a huge, huge amount of money. And what a legacy to go out with. Several people, I was watching another interview, and people said he had Parkinson's disease, but they said that that he looked bad at his last concert, and a lot of people didn't think that he would be there very long. You know, that raises the question, do you know, whether you admit it or not, that your time is running out? Do people know? Now, I would think, this is just me speaking, if you're suffering from a disease, a big disease, I think that you actually know that your body is failing you. Now, when somebody just dies of a massive heart attack, a car accident particularly, or any type of accident, that's different. But if you are elder, do you ever really know that your time is coming to an end? I think if you have a debilitating a disease, probably. If you're just old, I don't know. But having had some experience with people with cancer and these type of diseases, maybe that's why he did that last concert. He goes, I don't have much time. I want to go out as somebody to be remembered for $190 million concert, all given to charity. What a winner statement to say. Now, speaking about charities, did you happen to see the story about the fire aid show that they did out in California, where the money was supposed to go to people who were trying to rebuild, get their lives back together from the devastating fires? I don't have the details on how much money, but it was a huge amount of money that was raised. Now, and it was done with the idea that this would help people who had lost their homes, were suffering in any of a number of ways. Well, come to find out, the money that was raised for this all went to nonprofits who were supposed to help. That is how, because they said they couldn't deal with how to get the money to the individuals, so they did it through nonprofits. Well, I'd say, okay, that's a good idea. Until they start investigating these nonprofits out there in California. And I don't have time to go into the whole story. It might be something you might like to read about or check about. But a lot of, very little money has made it to the individuals. And the charities that they chose to give it to were total, in my opinion, bunk. They were charities that had more like a thought process on what to do. They didn't immediately get the money into the hands of people to help them rebuild, get back on their property, and do things. And I think that is such a travesty. Other comments about the story say that this is typical California. So I just think those people are still suffering out there. They expect the government to come in. All these stars got together and performed a wonderful concert for the people, raised all kinds of money, and yet, I'm not going to say none, but very little of the money has made it into the hands of the people that have it. You know, one of the things that we have here in our state is the secretary's office. And one of the things that they do in our secretary's office, and you can go and check it just by going to, I don't have it here in front of me, South Carolina Secretary of State. You can check and see how a charity is rated based on I think it's based on their tax returns, about how much money they take in, how much money is given out, how much of their board or president or whoever, their staff, how much money are they contributing to the charity and how it's dispersed. So if I was looking to give money to charities, one of the things that I would check is the Secretary of State. If you ever get, and this is an aside, if you ever get a telephone call from an organization trying to get you to give money to them, write it down, check it out, go to the Secretary of State's website. They call it, they're taught every year. They do a listing of the angels of giving and who is able to give the most without keeping very much of the money for the organization. And that's a big honor when somebody is put on that. But it also lets you know there are really good charities to contribute to. And if you see one where they have 80, 75, 60, 50% going to overhead, you don't want to contribute to that one, because of course you want your money to go to the charity, not to the overhead of the organization. So what this charity simply raised the money, then gave the money to all these other nonprofits in California, and now there's a big stink because the people are not getting the money, and I think that is a shame. All right, in another story that I found most interesting out there is COVID-19 made our brains age faster. This is frightening. Oh my goodness. This is a story from, is it from Time? I think it's from Time. Yes, this isn't a story from Time. COVID made our brains age faster. And it says COVID-19 is leaving all kinds of legacies on our health, both on our bodies and our brains. In a study published July 22nd in Nature Communications, researchers report that living through the pandemic aged our brains whether or not we were infected with COVID-19. To investigate COVID-19 impact on the brain, researchers looked at brain scans from 1,000 people during and before the pandemic. They compared these to brain scans from other people taken during normal times as a model of typical brain aging. So this was a study that was done in England. The researchers looked at measures like brain function, gray and white matter volume, a person's cognitive skills, and other chronological age. Gray matter is critical for memory, emotions, and movement, while white matter is essential for helping nerves transmit electrical signals. The pandemic-era brains aged about 5.5 months faster compared to the brains of those studied before the pandemic. Did you know this? I had no idea. This accelerated aging was documented in people who had COVID-19 infections as well as those who didn't, which strongly suggests that pandemic-related factors other than biological or virus-driven ones, like high stress, were also at work. In fact, the changes in gray and white matter were similar in people who were and were not infected. This finding was interesting and rather unexpected, said Mohammed Nijad. Other studies have already shown that COVID-19 virus can change the brain for the worse, but we found that participants who simply lived through the pandemic period, regardless of infection, also showed signs of slightly accelerated brain aging. This highlights the broader experience of the pandemic, including disruptions to daily life, stress, reduced social interactions, reduced activity, etc., may have a measurable impact on brain health. So, the impact on the pandemic seems to be greater in certain groups, notably men, the elderly, and people with more compromised health, lower educational status and income, or unstable housing. People with less stable employment had an average of 5 months of additional brain aging compared to those with higher employment status, while poorer health added about 4 months of increased brain age compared to better health. However, only people infected with COVID-19 showed drops in cognitive skills. So this is a most interesting article and a most interesting study. The question, of course, I think they did a study on 1,000. Was that a large enough group to really say that this is something that affects all? I don't know. But it is still a most interesting study. All right, I'm Ann Eller right here with you this morning. I got to tell you this one story, and then let's see, we'll check out a couple other things here. All right, so I don't know if you heard the story or not from yesterday, from the day before. Okay, we have just gotten wildlife going crazy out here in the meadow at WCRS. The other night we went out and I had my flashlight and I guess I flashed on. There were a couple of bunnies out there. Penny saw the bunnies. I think we were going to go out and we were going to go out and just throw the frisbee and wear her out a little bit because I have a light out there. You can see pretty good. So anyways, we were going out there. So I had her soft leash on her so she could run well. So she saw those two bunnies. She took off. Okay. She's chasing the bunny. She's going in the woods. She's coming out of the woods. I'm standing there going, well, this will be an excellent test on whether Penny here is an effective command and does she respond. So she's running through the woods. She's running out in the field. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'll never get this dog back. All right. I was just about ready to say, I'm just going to go inside and just give up and hope she comes and barks at the door. But I didn't. I stayed out there as saw these little eyes every once in a while darting across the field. All right, so she didn't catch a bunny, thank goodness. The bunnies were safe. They hopped out of harm's way. All right, so she comes back over when I kept saying, Penny here, Penny here. She actually came and was excited to come back, brought her Frisbee she dropped in the field. All right, so now we're walking down a little bit, and we look down by the tower, and we see this hump in the middle of the walkway part there. And I was like, what the heck is that? And Penny is like, let me at it, Mom, let me at it. So we walk a little closer, and I see the tail on it, and I realize it's an armadillo. Well, we yell a little bit, and Penny, we didn't get near it enough to touch it or anything, but we scared it off into the woods. So then I came back, and I looked at things about armadillos that I should know since I now have one in my field. It says, don't try to touch or trap it with your hands. They have salmonella quite often. It says they remove food sources. They love grubs, earthworms, and insects. Avoid leaving pet food outdoors overnight. Use motion deterrents. And it talks about other things you can do. A fence that extends 1 foot underneath can discourage digging. It says to contact South Carolina Wildlife. Armadillos are considered nuisance wildlife and can legally be trapped, but only with a permit or through a licensed wildlife removal professional. It says don't try to shoot it or poison it. Don't try to relocate it itself. All right. Here's a bonus fact that I did not know. I have asked several people about it, and they do not know it either. Armadillos can jump straight up when startled, about 3 feet. So if it scares you by surprise, don't worry. The feeling is mutual. Did you know they could jump straight up 3 feet before they go running off? All right. So that was Monday night, actually. Okay, so last night we're outside and we're walking around where my air conditioner is and everything, and the satellite dishes, and I look down, and there again is this hump. Penny didn't see it at first, but when Penny saw it, she got all excited and was like, let me at him, Mom, let me at him. So I'm like, I'll be blank if you are going to be up here in my garden. So I start yelling at the thing, and Penny is going, come on, Mom, let's go, let's go. All of a sudden, the thing starts taking up. It goes over the boardwalk underneath the trailer and starts headed down. And here is Penny and I at 11:30 at night, like some old movie where the commander gives the command, attack, and they just start running at each other. Remember in the old movies before they got sophisticated, or in what really happened in real life on the battlefields, where they just started running at each other, whether they had swords or guns or whatever they had. So here we go, and we're out there yelling, get out of here! And, of course, we're right next to the hotel here. Do you know everybody that was outside in the hotel went in, slammed their doors, and just said, we're out of here. We had nothing to do with what's happening next door. Nor did anybody call 911 and say there's a crazy lady next door running after an armadillo. We don't know what she's running after, actually, folks. And we chased it back into the woods. So, yeah, Penny, that was a pretty funny story. We came back. Penny's going, We got him, Mom. We did it. We did it. So anyways, I'm hopeful that this armadillo will decide that it is not in his best interest to stay right here with us. Anyways, I am Ann Eller. I am with you here this morning, loving what we're talking about, loving what we're doing. Don't forget, there are all kinds of activities coming up. One of the ones that I think is going to be fun to go to is the water skiing one that is not very far away. It comes here every year, has been here. I think it is terrific. It is the ski. You can go to skigreenwood.com to find out more about it, skigreenwood.com. And what a great event. So let's see if we can find out any more information about it here today. It is something that I hope that everybody will check out. It's the AWSA Southern Region Water Ski Championships coming to Greenwood today through the 27th. Check out the events at skigreenwood.com. That's skigreenwood.com. It is on a lake that was made just for water competition. And that's why I think this is so cool. Rogers Ski Lake is a purpose-built lake for 3-event water skiing completed in 1992. The lake offers excellent conditions for all 3 events, along with abundant shade for spectator comfort. And so the jump offers an exhilarating view for skiers. And the lake is approximately 20-25 minutes from area hotels and lots of other good stuff. So anyways, the address for the site is 501 Callison Road in Bradley. Check that out if you have some time. Go there and check out all the activities when they're going to be doing stuff. It is a good thing and quite an event, quite a quiet event that comes to our community every year. That's going to do it for me. You are listening and or watching WCRS. I hope you will take the time to like and share what we're doing. If you'd like to make a comment here, I would love to hear from you right there on the website, on our Facebook page, Facebook Live. And if you would like to share it and to follow on notifications, because what we've started doing since the Blues Cruise, we've started going live whether we're on the radio or not. So if you want to know what's going on, you got to sign up for notifications like this crazy woman is going live. So that's going to do it for me. No show this afternoon, as I said. If you have a question or a comment, you can call or text 864-229-7984. That's 864-229-7984. Please let me know what you're thinking about what I'm doing here on the radio. And I know I talk about text, but you can also call and leave a message, 864-229-7984. Penny's telling me it's time for this show to end. Gracie used to do this same thing. Why is Penny like this? I have no idea. We're in the process of making Puppy Penny into Princess Penny. Have a great day. That's going to do it for me. See, I told you we'd be finished here. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Keep on sharing. The phones are open. Keep on laughing. Give us a call.